Ta-da! Hey everybody, it's Dan here with Stephen.
Why you couldn't hear me say it, or
No, I couldn't. Sorry, but the dog chewed up my hearing aids, so that's kind of an issue. But we're here with our very special guest, Brian Willoughby. Welcome, Brian.
Hello, Dan. Hello, Stephen.
We
Hello.
appreciate you taking time. Thank you. So
Yeah.
much to go over. I'll let Steve kick it off.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about the upcoming reissue of the Cousins and Willoughby album, The Bridge, which originally came out in 1994 and comes out November 28th. This reissue, people can look at the info in the post. But first off, let's go back in time a bit. How did you and Dave Cousins meet, and how did that lead to your collaborations and Straub's involvement?
Well, I used to go and watch the Strawberry Hill Boys, which was the sort of precursor of the Straubs. They used to run a folk club in a place called Hounslow in West London, not too far from Heathrow Airport. And I used to get my homework done, school homework done, and then run up to the White Bear in Hounslow to watch the Strawberry Hill Boys, because Dave and Tony Hooper were both great acoustic guitar players, and that was what I was into at the time. And we stayed in touch, and I gave Dave a copy of some instrumental pieces of music that I'd written. And in 1971, he played on a Mary Hopkin album, Mary Hopkin, the Beatles protege. And she was looking for somebody to go out and play live what Dave had played on her album. And he very kindly passed my instrumental tape to Mary and her husband, Tony Visconti, record producer Tony Visconti. And I got the job with her on my 22nd birthday. And I've looked back ever since.
It seems like yesterday, right?
Yeah, just yesterday.
You talk about
yeah.
Short like timelines. Like Steve said, the album comes out, The Bridge, November 28th, which is right around the corner. It's being described as like a long lost 1994 Straub's album. That sounds funny. Long lost 1994. That's the year Steve was born. He'll be 31 tomorrow, actually, as we're broadcasting this, which I can't believe. I can't exactly cradle him anymore. But what would you say makes it feel like a Straub's album, Brian? And what would you say sets it apart, if anything?
Well, first of all, Dave and I had quite a successful duo album years before that, in the late 70s. That was called Old School Songs. And we decided it got
79.
It got into the UK folk charts. And in fact, it was near the top, I think. And we always said, we must make a follow-up to it. And then, nearly 15 years later, we did The Bridge, and we invited, first of all, Blue Weaver, the keyboard player, Blue Weaver, to come and play on it, and then Chaz Cronk, bass player, and Tony Fernandez, and then we got Richard Hudson and Rod Demick. So we had all either ex or current Straubs on it, and normally when we did a Straubs album, we would all sort of, learn our parts and then go into the studio, and pretty much it was regimented. But with The Bridge, we got all the guys into the studio. Dave and I sat there with a couple of acoustic guitars and said, this is how it goes. And they all sort of joined in. So it was a very organic kind of album. And I think it still sounds fresh now, in fact, because of that. It doesn't sound sort of too organized.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like it came about quite organically.
It did, yes.
Yeah, nice.
And all those guys are great players, so we trusted them, and off they went.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've listened to Old School Songs. I really love, it really is poetry and music together. So I'm very curious to see like how this sort of how things may have evolved with the gap of time and all the evolution in between and stuff. So I'm very curious to see how the bridge, this reissued album, sounds in the near future. But you also got Mary Hopkins singing on this album. What was it like having her contributions there?
Ah, fantastic. I mean, I'm still great friends with Mary. We talk to each other regularly. And I invited her to come and sing on it, and she accepted straight away. And when she came into the studio, the only people who knew her were Dave and myself, and the rest of the guys, I think they almost fainted, every one of them. And the sound engineer Kenny Denton was saying, "Oh my God, I've always wanted to work with you." Blah blah blah. And in fact, he actually rang a friend of his who was a mastering engineer. Sadly, I can't remember his name. And he came in and was almost down on one knee to, meeting Mary. It was like meeting the Queen.
Wow,
I mean,
some extra magic.
Yeah, but Mary's a lovely lady, and again, we we played the songs to her, and she said, "Okay, well, let's do it," and she and Dave just sang them.
Nice.
She's a great musician.
That's great. And we notice on the track list that there's a few bonus tracks. Were these ever released elsewhere, or is this the first time that they found a home?
I think they came from a sort of bootleg type album. And but basically, somebody sent me, I don't know if it was an actual album, but I just got a tape of it. And it was a full show of Dave and myself in America. And I sifted through it and chose 4 of the songs. I think we played them well, and Dave did really good introductions to a couple of them. Especially Ringing Down the Years, which was about Sandy Denny. And Dave tells a very heartfelt story about Sandy. And and one of the songs, it's called Ways and Means. And in the middle of it, I did a solo, without a safety net, shall we say. And I screwed it up, and Dave laughed. So I kept that in.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Yeah, it's good. But, now the screen's funny here. I can only see. All right, there we go. I can see you now. Yep.
Yeah, and I'll go through the track list for people. For those who haven't heard the original release, this will tease your imagination a little bit and help anticipate the 28th of November. We've got You Never Needed Water, Further Down the Road, Strange Day Over the Hill, Heat of the Street, Morning Glory. I've got that flower taking over my garden. That thing is like a creature that it's amazing how those things grow. Cry No More, Do You Remember, The Plane, Oh So Sleepy, and Song for Alex. And then we get into the bonus tracks, which include Desert Song, Ways and Means, as you mentioned. David talks about Sandy Denny, Ringing Down the Years, and Beat the Retreat. So nice to have that nod to Sandy Denny, great voice of Fairport Convention, and of course the other voice on the studio version of Battle Forevermore with Robert Plant on Led Zeppelin's 4th album. Just a great nod to her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Dave and Sandy were really close friends, and I was obviously very upset when she passed away.
Yeah.
So he wrote Ringing Down the Years, in honor of her. And in fact, he and I recorded an acoustic version of that, and it came out on an album. And I can't remember, to be honest, I can't remember the name of the album, but basically we were trying to raise funds for Georgia, who's Sandy's daughter, to come over to England. I mean, the album was probably something called something like, Songs for Georgia or something. But various members of Fairport Convention played on it.
Nice.
and Dave and I contributed that performance.
That's great.
To the album.
Is there a track that was your favorite to work on when you guys worked on the bridge?
Yes, I mean, Morning Glory is actually my favorite track.
Oh,
But I suppose, so let me just have a look. I would say we had a lot of fun doing Strange Day Over the Hill, because we got Rod Demick to play harmonica on it, and Straubs and harmonica don't normally go together.
right.
But that was a lovely thing to do. And in fact, it turned out that my mum loved Strange Day Over the Hill. How about that?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, little known fact. But I would say that probably Morning Glory was the most enjoyable one to work on, and Blue did a sort of orchestral arrangement on it, and I think it's still my favorite song to sort of hum to myself. I don't
Oh,
sing.
that's great.
Yeah.
Nice. What a beautiful work. Can't wait for this to come out.
Yeah, and back in the day, from what we understand, there were only 1,000 copies, right? Well, was there a reason for that?
Yes, it actually came out on cassette first, and then
Oh,
and then John Tobler, the musicologist who has the label "The Road Goes On Forever," suggested that we should put it on CD.
I just want to show the young boys and girls what a cassette is. This is what Brian's talking about. One of these things, in case you're not familiar with it, kids.
Yeah, and have you got a pencil ready to wind it back?
That's I can demonstrate. That's right. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm rewinding. I forgot about that.
So we pressed up 1,000 basically because Dave and I were still very much involved with Straubs. We were on the road with them, and we didn't have too much time to do our duo shows. So essentially, we thought 1,000 would be an adequate number. As it happens, it sold very well, but
are those 1,000 copies now collector's items, Brian? I mean, those first issues?
Yes.
I would think so.
Yeah. So I've got the 999 in my garage. So, yes, they are. You see them rarely on like eBay or whatever, and they change hands for fairly significant money. But
that's neat.
Yeah, but I think anyone who actually bought it probably treasures it, because it's a lovely sounding album, and especially with Mary on it, it just has a special quality to it.
Nice.
We had a lot of fun with every track. I mean, to answer your question, Stephen, like on You Never Needed Water, all it is Dave and myself on acoustic guitar and Tony Fernandez on bass drum. So we wore his right leg out, going boom, boom, boom.
A great drummer too.
Yeah, yes, he is. He's a great drummer indeed.
Yeah.
He was known as Thunder Fists in the band.
Absolutely,
it's a great nickname. Yeah, it's great that this collaboration album is coming out soon. Probably lots of people who've never listened to it before, given it was a little more than 30 years ago and limited to that number of copies. So it's great. It'll reach new ears potentially, and with Dave Cousins having passed recently, I think it's great to have this out. We had him on our show, I think 2 years ago it would have been, around the time the magic of it all came out, and it was really great conversing with him back then.
My wife Catherine, whom you met briefly, sang on that on magic of it all.
Oh, nice. Do you have a couple favorite anecdotal memories about David that you'd like to share?
Ooh, dear me.
Family friendly ones.
Yeah, well, Dave was well known for his choice of flamboyant shirts.
Mm.
And I mean, every show he had a different flamboyant shirt on. And he went to Kenya on holiday once, and he bought this shirt, an African shirt, and it had a huge roundel on the back, like of the sun, basically.
Yeah.
And he came on the stage, and held his arms out and sort of turned around to the audience to show them this sun on the back of his shirt. And some guy in the audience shouted out, 180, which is a darts thing.
That's
the highest
hilarious.
you get on a dartboard.
So there was always that anticipation. What's he going to wear? What's he going to wear? Right.
Yeah, yes, pretty much.
That's nice.
He was also infamous for leaving his wallet in hotels.
Oh, wow.
Really?
We used to, either with the band or when it was just the duo or the acoustic Straubs, we'd be about 73.5 miles down the road from a hotel, and Dave would suddenly say, "Oh no, I've left my," and he called it his Wally. "I've left my Wally in the hotel." So the air would be blue for a few minutes, and we would drive back to the hotel and pick up his Wally. But,
Goodness.
yes, fond memories.
That's funny that it happened enough to where you would mention it as a thing.
It happened with alarming regularity.
Funny. Well, now for the Brian Willoughby fun fact segment, what do you like to do outside of music? Music, of course, has been such a huge part of your life for so long. But what do you like to do when you're not writing, producing, recording, playing, or performing? That's totally separate from music.
Well, I tell you what, unfortunately, I am literally an avid guitar collector, and I spend my life, scouring papers and the internet and so forth for interesting instruments. And I'm still at it. I've been collecting for many years now, and that's still my major hobby. But to be honest, I think I probably love guitars more than I love music.
Yeah, you've got a bunch of guitars in the background there. Why don't you tell us a bit about some of what you have?
Yeah, what are some really crazy finds that you came across that were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're letting this go for £3 or whatever?
Oh, I wish. No, unfortunately, I haven't got too many of those. But actually, there are a couple of guitars here. One of which Dave Cousins he owned it, and he played it on all the early Strawberry Hill Boys records and the early Straubs. In fact, it's a Gibson J45, and my best friend bought it from him, and then sadly my best friend passed away and left it to me. So
wow,
I've got that here.
That's quite special then.
Yeah, it is. It's a prized possession. It's a lovely instrument. And I've got one that my parents bought me for my 21st birthday. And
wow.
It's still my number one go-to acoustic guitar.
Wow,
in fact,
really?
It's actually the same model as the one that Dave had, the Gibson J45.
What year is it from? Was it brand new at the time they got it for you?
No. Mine is from like 1959.
Oh.
And Dave's one is around about the same time, sort of 58-ish, thereabouts.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, each guitar has a story to tell them, and they all played on different albums and so forth. But,
right.
I'm forever in search of the Holy Grail. I mean, I'll find it one of these days.
What is your dream find, Brian? What would be your Holy Grail of guitars to find?
Oh, well, yes. If you lend me the money, there's a late 50s Gibson Les Paul. I mean, that's everybody's Holy Grail, really, in the electric world. I do have a nice selection of electric guitars as well as acoustic. But as I say, they all played on different albums and so forth. There's one I've got one Gibson Les Paul, which is a one-off, which was made for the 1993 NAMM show in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I've had a sort of artist deal with Gibson for a long time. And I saw this thing for sale in a music shop in Richmond, in Surrey, in West London. And it's got a one-piece top. Most electric guitars are book matched, 2 pieces of wood.
Right.
This thing has got a solid top.
Wow.
Anyway, I rang Gibson and said I'd like one of these things, and they said, well, we don't do them. But anyway, I bought it, and I was invited to the Gibson factory in Nashville, and I met their head of research and development. And I told him about this guitar, and he spun around and he said, "Translucent amber, that's the color of it."
Nice.
He said, "I made that guitar for the NAMM
wow.
show in 1990. So it's literally a one-off, and it's a great guitar."
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah, for you guitar fans. But now you're a drummer, so that must have bored the backside of you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that though. But I have, and I'll show it to you. I have a 1959 guitar that was my father's. It's up here on the shelf. It is that one. There is a 1959 Giannini classical guitar with the original label from when Giannini were still being made in Brazil.
Right. Wow.
And my dad got it when he was 19 in 1959, and I ended up with it. It's a beautiful guitar. I've actually not played it myself on recordings, but I've had, there is a song I did play it on recordings. So I've had other people who actually know how to play guitar play it on recordings, and it just sounds amazing still. It's great.
Yeah, it will do, yes. Yeah, Giannini are lovely things. I've got an 1806 Italian guitar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's virtually untunable. But I've got it in tune. I mean, we're way below standard pitch, but it's just got a fantastic tone. I mean, it's absolutely
that's neat. What is the wood, Brian? Do you know?
I don't. It would be spruce, I would think, on the top, and the back and sides. I'm not sure. Do you want me to get it and have a look?
That's neat, though. 1806.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. But it's just got a stunning tone. And I made an instrumental album a couple of years ago, and I used it on one track just for like one simple chord, and it sounds gorgeous.
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah, and not being a guitarist myself, I kind of have a heady question that I've kind of been thinking. So I know that, in acting, people play different characters. Would you say that using a different guitar kind of feels like becoming another character, or does it always feel like, yeah, this is all me,
Right. Hopefully, no matter what instrument I'm playing, which guitar I'm playing, it still sort of sounds like, me kind of thing. But each instrument, especially the electrics with different pickups on them, do bring out different characteristics. I mean, if you're going to play a Les Paul, you're more likely to hit it harder than you would a Strat, say a Gibson 335, for example, which you're more likely to play more gently. But I've got some instruments here that I like to put almost Pete Townsend, hit
oh wow, the windmill on them.
My fingers are too. Actually, Pete Townsend, before I joined the Strawbs, I was in a band called No Sweat, who were a sort of Rolling Stones type lineup. And we released a single on Pete Townsend's label, Eel Pie Records.
Wow.
Pete was very generous towards me. He lent me amplifiers and guitars, and took me into his inner sanctum of his guitar collection. He's actually, as Pete is a very sensitive, wonderful acoustic guitar player. I mean, most people wouldn't believe that because they see him doing the windmill stuff and all that.
Right.
But he's a really accomplished acoustic guitar player.
About what year was that, Brian?
77, 78, 77, 78.
Oh, wow. So by then he must have had quite the collection as well.
Yes, he did. I mean, it was a huge collection. But he's a really nice fellow, Pete. He lived down the road from where I lived in a place called Twickenham in West London. And we both had dogs, and we used to walk our dogs together.
Oh, that's nice. Wonderful. Steve and I are both dog people. He's got a dog he's had for years, and I got a few. Yeah. Nice.
We have a, well, she's predominantly Jack Russell, but we think that her mother was a woman of ill repute, because every time we look at her, we see a different dog.
That's funny. So you've got this wonderful album coming out November 28th. What's next for you?
Well, Catherine, my wife, whom you met earlier on, she and I work together, and we've got, I think, 9 albums together. And we go out and we play. We do folk clubs and art centres and the odd festival. And we've got a tour in the spring next year, and a couple of shows locally here in Ireland before that. So we keep ourselves busy. And I also work with a band, a lady called Alison McGrath, who lives locally here. And she's a great blues singer, a writer and singer. And I'm in her band. And Catherine sang on her latest album. So we keep ourselves busy.
That's good. That's great. Keep us posted on that. We'd be happy to talk about it and help get it out there, promote it, and build the buzz with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how can people follow you and get a hold of you, or at least get a hold of your music?
Well, we have a website. It's www.craigandwilloughby.com, CRAIGAND, and then my name .com.
Great.
So there's we keep that fairly fresh, and then Facebook, but both Catherine Craig and myself on Facebook.
Great.
So that's pretty much how we let people
Nice.
know.
Well, congratulations on the release of this with the bonus tracks, and great way to wind down the end of the year, the bridge with Dave Cousins and Brian Willoughby, our wonderful guests today. Thanks so much for taking time to join us from all the way across the pond in Ireland. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much indeed for having me.
Absolutely. Hang on the line with us for just a moment after we say goodbye to the audience. And audience, thank you so much for following Steve and I here on Yesshift, and those watching on Drum Talk TV, thank you as well. And Steve, if people want to send love letters or have suggestions, where can they do that?
They can email us at yesshiftpodcast@gmail.com. And if they want to follow us, they can find us at Yesshift on Facebook and YouTube, or go to anchor.fm/Yesshift for the audio.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Whether you're watching live or on the archive, we appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.